Welcome back to the Bernard Lee Poker Show. We are with our guest today that is the founder of Cardplayer Lifestyle.com, where our podcast is hosted on right now. This gentleman and I have been talking for a while and have known each other for a while, but met 5 years ago. I can't believe it's 5 years ago at the WSOP. It was his first time ever coming. And this year he has something very exciting where he is holding his inaugural Mixed Game Festival. It started on October 4th and will run through October 7th, where they are going to have a $200 horse tournament where the winner will win a platinum pass to the Pokerstars Players Championship. That's a $30,000 value, an incredible tournament that they're going to be having at the Westgate in Las Vegas. He'll talk more about that during our interview, but welcome to the show, Robbie Strazynski. Robbie, thanks for joining us once again.
My pleasure, Bernard. One of my favorite shows in the poker media sphere and one of my favorite people. Thanks for having me on.
I appreciate it. And of course, again, thank you for being on the show. Again, you've been on the show in many different roles. Obviously, being a guest, you've actually helped host it and flip the tables.
I remember that
a couple times as well. But you know, the World Series, now it's 2021. Obviously, it was on a hiatus last year because of the pandemic. It's back. I know you're at the Westgate for the Mixed Game Festival, but have you gone to the Rio to see and check out the World Series so far?
Yeah, it's like moths to a light bulb, you know, when the World Series is going on, you have to go there. That was one of my first stops. I've been there twice now, and it's nice. You know, it's kind of that feeling of getting on a bike again. It's that old familiarity, and you know, everyone's wearing masks when they're walking around, but you know, you're seeing those faces and the characters, and you know, I even missed hearing bad beat stories in the hallways, and you know, those are there too. So I've been there, and it's nice to see the World Series back again.
Yeah, for those who haven't gone yet, including myself, I don't get in until October 14th. What is it like? Is it as, you know, this past weekend was the reunion, right? So they needed over 12,000 people to kind of make their guarantee, and they got there. Yep. But you know, what was it like? Is it just ridiculously crowded like in the past with the Colossuses, or, you know, less spectators? Because obviously how many people were wearing masks at tables, you know, all of those things. Sorry, throwing a lot of questions at you, but it's really just kind of thinking about it.
It is, and it's like, you know, obviously this is, you know, the word unprecedented is thrown about, but it truly is. You know, there's never been a World Series quite like this one. And, you know, on the one hand, people are saying, oh, well, maybe not a lot of people are going to go ahead and show up because, you know, oh, they have to wear the mask. But then again, they go ahead and say, well, if you've got proof of vaccination, you don't have to wear one when you're sitting. They say, oh, well, that's going to make a lot of people feel comfortable. So, you know, the World Series did their best, and you can see they are fully staffed. They've got enough dealers sitting at the tables and ready to handle crowds, which is very, very important. Yeah. And the crowds are there. You know, the first weekend happened, and that's what happens. There's always sort of like this weekend surge of folks coming after they finish work on Friday. They get the flights out and they come to Vegas and you know, take their shot. And again, like I said, you know, that feeling certainly is there. The first time I stopped by was actually the first day, September 30th, and that was a little bit light, you know, but it was also 10 p.m. and you know, maybe at the beginning of the day it was more. But already the second time I came over, it was a Sunday and things were rocking and rolling there. You know what I mean? Yeah. And, you know, I wouldn't say like throngs, oh my gosh, you know, you can't move and you feel claustrophobic or anything, but the rooms are full, the tables are full, the lines are long. And, you know, there definitely is that World Series electricity in the air.
That's good. Well, that's great news with regards to that. Obviously, people were concerned about it. And, you hope that everything stays safe. That's the most important thing. And,
Yes.
and we'll kind of go from there. And you really hope, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm anxious to get out there and see what it's like and see, and obviously you're hearing all the big names and everything like that. And so we'll see how that goes.
I will say that 25K H.O.R.S.E that opened up was pretty special.
Right.
About 8 entries, and we had the great Norman Chad, making it fun for everybody. Even these, big professional high rollers, they're laughing it up, and they were happy to see each other. And Norman's playing hijinks of like, he took out like a pooper scooper because someone's cards were that bad. He grabbed the cards and threw it on the floor. So it was a lot of fun and hijinks over there as well.
Yeah, we just had Norm on last week talking about that. Him and Lon. It's always great to have the dynamic duo on the show. And he was talking about putting this up and putting it up for the charity that he was going for. So great to see them, and what a great event to kick it off. Obviously, the casino employees event started off the reunion, and it's just gonna, more and more events. 88 bracelet events, 11 more online, 99 bracelet events this in summer. It's incredible that the World Series is back in play, and we'll see what happens. Obviously, you are the founder of CardplayerLifestyle.com. It has a new format. You revamped it, right? It took a while. From what you and I talked about.
Yes, it certainly has. Well, those who are watching on YouTube, you can see I got a new logo here. So it's a little shape of a poker table as well. Nice oval there with new color scheme. Sorry, I know you're a big Boston Celtics fan, but this is my purple and gold, my Lakers purple and gold. And that's also, akin to the format of the site. It was a long work in progress, like when anyone who's ever done let's say you're moving from one house to another, there's always some hiccups and unexpected things that happen. Same thing happens with the website migration, but thankfully, we got all the kinks worked out and everything. And, it's a great site. It's just much better looking, sleek, professionally designed, and a lot more content, organized by category on the homepage. So it's easier to find things and navigate and just, hopefully enjoy what we've had to offer for close to 12 years now on cardplayerlifestyle.com.
That's awesome. And for those of you, I have gotten a lot of messages, and you and I talked about it. Go under the More tab, and then the first one is the podcast, and that's where you can find the podcast. I definitely got some with this new migration, people asking where are the podcasts, because it used to be right there. And so it's perfect that's where it is. Go to the More and then click on the first one, podcast, and you go right to our podcast. But let's talk
attention as well, right?
Let's talk about your inaugural Mixed Game Festival. Again, it is taking place at the Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino from October 4th, started yesterday, and is going through the 7th. You've had some great guests, and we'll have some more tomorrow. Some of my favorite people will be there tomorrow. You'll talk about that. But just so everyone understands, because I think some people are like, Westgate, what is the Westgate? For people who remember Vegas, who know Vegas, if you remember the Las Vegas Hilton, Elvis Presley and the like, just off of the strip a little bit on the northern side, the Hilton is Westgate now. That's basically the Westgate from the Hilton. So that's where that is, so everyone knows. But talk a little bit about your inaugural event. There are a couple of already events that have happened with Dylan Lind and Elia Lesra. And tomorrow you have Jan Fisher and Linda Johnson. Talk a little bit about that, and obviously the tournament itself on the 7th.
Well, it's really cool because, what I like about this, the Mixed Game Festival, is it's a combination. We've got one big tournament, but 3 days of dealer's choice cash games. And the way we've sort of connected between the two is you get a 10,000 chip starting stack for the tournament, but the more hours you play, for every 5 hours of tournament play, of cash game play, you get an extra 2,000 in tournament chips. So you can start up to a double starting stack if you play for 25 hours during the cash game, and some people are definitely on their way to doing that and maximizing the amount of chips they can get. The cool thing, you know, what I always said, why a mixed game festival? Have you ever heard, Bernard, you've been around way longer than I have. Have you heard of a mixed game festival?
I think Barge might do something along those
Something
lines,
of,
right?
yeah,
A little bit
exactly.
like that, but
A little
definitely
bit.
in today's world, especially
Yeah.
since the moneymaker effect, right? So
Mhm.
no limit hold'em is king. I'm old enough and have played enough. I was a 7 card stud beginning back in the early and mid 90s.
Mhm.
And I still remember calling casinos saying, hey, listen, there's this no limit thing that's happening on the West Coast. You might want to think about it. And the responses from the casinos, honestly, was no one will do that in cash games. They'll
Go
only play
figure.
limit. And so, that's
And
kind
now
of the funny
it's
thing.
all flipped
Hey,
around.
it's all
Everyone's
it's
only
also
playing no limit.
exactly. No, everyone wants to play no limit, et cetera. It's too slow to win
Right.
only 2 or 3 bets. But yeah, it's very rare in today's world. Yeah.
Right. So that's the thing, though. You know, me and my home game buddies and my dad's home game buddies, we never stopped playing the dealer's choice
Right.
mix.
Same with us. We basically play a 10-20 version of horse with a
Right.
few things here and there.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
And you know, I said, well, why, you know, anytime I go to a casino, why is it only no limit hold'em? And one of the things, you know, obviously you can't compete with the Cadillac of poker, but at the same time, one of the things that always prevents a mixed game from getting together is you do have the people out there, but not necessarily at the same time. Someone at 6 p.m. says, oh, I'd love to play a game. Ain't nobody there. Oh, 7 p.m. another 2 people show up. So I said, you know, if you promote it in advance and you say there's going to be an entire festival devoted to mixed game play, people will show up. And
right.
that much more so if you have sort of a starting event each day. Like you said, the first day we had Dylan Lindy come and he's signing his Mastering Mixed Games book. Elia Lesra came this morning and he's signing his autobiography. So we had a little crowd of people who already showed up to start the day. Oh, they're all there. Let's play some poker. And that's what they
Right.
did. And it just sort of carried on from there. Tomorrow we'll be doing the same thing with, you know, the great Poker Hall of Famer, Linda Johnson, Women in Poker Hall of Famer, Jan Fisher, to do the same as well. They're going to do a Q&A session and give some tips and strategy for mixed game play. And then, of course, the fourth and final day, that's the big tournament. We start at noon. It's the $200 horse with the big Platinum Pass on top, $30,000 of extra value. And yeah, it's just exciting. This is a long-held dream come true, and it's just really cool to be hosting such a great festival.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great idea. Obviously, a lot of the games are games that, if you really love mixed games, these are the games that you want to play, right?
Yep.
And if you don't, then it's a very interesting scenario to play some of these games.
And it's not going to
Horse,
cost you a lot. This is
right?
4-8 limit. You can sit on the same $100 for a good few hours and learn these games and have fun while doing it, because we're doing all these giveaways as well. We got a free fruit and salad bar everyone's enjoying. So it's a lot of good stuff.
And for people who don't know, because again, it's amazing. I think a lot of people wouldn't know necessarily, but horse is what is the game.
Yep.
H is limit hold'em.
Right.
O, Omaha 8 or better. R, Raz. For those of you who don't know what Raz is 7-card stud, but the low version. So ace 2, 3, 4, 5, or the wheel is the best hand possible. And it is sometimes considered one of the most frustrating games that you can possibly play, because
Yes,
you
sir.
can start out with ace deuce 3 and get nothing, right? And
Uh-huh.
just end up with that. There's no qualifier in Raz, by the way.
Right.
In S is stud, 7-card stud, the traditional 7-card stud. And the E is the one that's slightly unusual because it doesn't really start the game's name, but you have to somehow write out horse. So
Right.
E is 7-card stud 8, there's the E, or better. So there are ironically 3 stud version games: Raz, stud, and stud 8 or better, Omaha, and then Hold'em. And so
Yep.
it's interesting. Are there any other mixed game? Obviously the tournament is horse, but are there any other mixed games that are playing there, like some of the draw games, the deuce to
You
sevens and
name
things
it,
like
we're
that?
playing it. I mean, I'm not nothing with like wild cards or pass the trash or anything like that. But you
Right.
know, we've got Badoogie, Badusi, Badesi, good deuce 7 triple draw. Archie, that's a fun game. You don't get to hear that
Yeah.
that often. a double board Omaha High Low or double board Omaha High. That's Norman Chad's favorite game, the double board Omaha High. So lots of very interesting variants, and you get to play a round of it. And I always just felt like when you keep switching the game like that, it keeps you on your toes, and it always makes your brain forced to be active. You never really fall asleep. You have to pay attention. Oh wait, this is Raz. My crap cards are actually good right now. You don't want to be rolled up in Raz.
Right. We were doing a lot of it during the pandemic when we were playing online. Pokerstars.net has a lot of these, mixed games, et cetera.
Yeah.
And because I do a mixed game basically for my home game for the last 20 years,
Mhm.
it really, like you said, even though I'm not playing a tournament every single week, it really just keeps your brain going all the time.
And
so,
you touched upon it. You said PokerStars, and that's why it's actually such a perfect fit to have them as the title sponsor. They're really the only online site out there that offers anywhere near this much variety of games. And when we had done our speaking about it, they're like, "Oh, mixed games, yeah, we do mixed games. We can support that kind of thing." So really cool of them to step up like that.
Yeah, and like you said, go on Cardplayer Lifestyle. You can go and see a lot of the mixed game poker guides for all of the games, and like you talked about, deuce to seven, ace to five. Those are the basics. Badoogie is another basic, but then you have the Badacies and the Badoocies, and for those who don't know, it's Badoogie and ace through five is Badacy.
Don't forget
is Badoogie and deuce to seven. Yeah, go ahead.
Right. And don't forget Raz Doogie. That's an interesting one.
I know it's unbelievable watching all the, and then like you said, H.O.R.S.E, which is you have to read of, but it's basically a 5-card, a triple draw, high-low split game.
Yep.
That's a mouthful.
Right.
With qualifiers, half the pot goes to the highest hand, half the pot goes to the lowest ace through five hand.
Right. But you need a qualifier for the high also.
Exactly. You have to have a qualifier for the low. You must have 8 or better, right? So that's typically an 8 or better. But for the high, you must either have a pair, you must have pair of 6s or a pair of 9s, varying depending on the rooms. But it's amazing. People talk about this game. I've played it a couple times, and I guess I'm more of a traditionalist. I mean, it's tough enough when I'm talking about Badacy and Badoosie.
Because when you're dealt those first 5 cards, you have to make your decision. Okay, am I going to try and draw for the low or try and draw from the high? And you go ahead and you pick one, and all of a sudden you get these other cards like, darn it. If you hide those emotions, people understand, okay, let's pile the money in. He didn't get his card. So it's also a very interesting game, and it's fun to talk about at the end of a hand. That's for sure.
Right. Now, the one thing about this tournament is that there is a limit, right? There's a limit of number of people who can play based off of the tables that they have. So if people are interested in doing this, again, this is only a couple of days away. They should be
better get registered right now. Yeah.
Right. Because there's a good chance that it will sell out, and it could sell out early. So you definitely want to get there, do it quicker than.
And it is a freeze out, so there's no rebuys or anything. If some people do get eliminated within the first 2 hours,
they have alternate list.
There will be some alternates.
Okay.
We'll see how it plays out, but always best to try and reserve your seat as well in advance as possible.
Right. And you don't want to have a scenario where you show up and you're like, oh, I didn't know any better. So that's why we want to make sure everyone knows about it and gets out there. There is a charity component to this, right?
Absolutely. Well, the book signings, that was a very big part of it, is very kindly, D&B Poker, they published Your Poker Satellite Success as well. They published Dylan's Mastering Mixed Games, and they said, we're going to offer it for a discounted price of $20 instead of the regular price. And all of those monies are going to go to charity. Same with Ellie. Ellie said, $10 a pop for the book, all the money goes to charity. And PokerStars and the Westgate Resort, they matched those funds, and the money is going to be going to the Westgate Resorts Foundation, which helps the families of people who work here who are not necessarily in the best of straits, and their communities as well. So it's always important for me to have some sort of charity component. And we both of course, with all of the charity work you've done, poker has such a tremendous potential to do good things, and it was great to see that money put forth towards a good cause.
Sure. No, absolutely. And then if anyone is coming into town, you can get a special promotional rate through the Westgate as well. You mentioned the specific code. It's online, but I'll say it real quick. ZCLPO21, and you can get a discounted hotel rate from there. So,
And no resort fee.
Oh, even better. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing
Yeah.
that kills everyone right now, the
Yeah,
resort
right.
fee. But Robbie, congratulations. Sounds like it's going to be a great tournament, and
you.
it'll work out fantastic. And really happy that it all worked out.
Well, I certainly hope the tournament will match the excitement we've had so far during the festival. And I appreciate the chance to come on the show, Bernard. It's always a pleasure. And thanks for helping me spread the word to your audience as well. And folks, if you haven't yet done so, come and say hello at the Westgate.
Absolutely. Well, Robbie Strazynski, cardplayerlifestyle.com founder. Thank you very much. We really appreciate it. Congratulations on your inaugural Mixed Game Festival, my friend.
Thank you.
And of course, if you are here on YouTube and you enjoyed this video and this interview, please subscribe and of course, like the video as well.
How can you not subscribe and like the video? These are the best videos and the best ones to subscribe to and like. Hit that notification button as well. So when a new video comes out, you'll be one of the first to know.
Perfect. Thanks, Robbie. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon.
Pleasure. Thanks, Bernard. I hope to see you on the 14th. Take it easy. Thank you.